What's up everyone, this is Q from Retro Q Gaming, and just before I start this video real quick, I want to apologize if you can hear any howling wind in the background. It's been storming absolutely all day, something like fucking crazy. I've adjusted the gain and the noise cancelling on the mic, and I'm doing as much as possible to eliminate it out. So yeah, apologies if you can still hear that. It should only be minimal, I hope, from the changes I've made, but we'll see how that goes anyway. So this video just came out of nowhere basically because I'm sure most of you are familiar by now with the game Hatred, the PC game that was due to release, well, today. Most people, myself included, had it pegged in for 6 PM BST, which is when the Steam store updates. I remember earlier I even checked it at one point and it had said like 4 hours remain or whatever it was. And then I was talking to a friend of mine about it, and which was about 20 minutes after I'd previously checked it. And I went back to link him to the page, and it was suddenly up, available for sale. I'm like, okay, that's handy. So I bought it. I figured it would just be a pre-order, but the game cost €16.66, so 16.66. But once it downloaded, it played, and it was ready to go instantly, and it was basically fully released a couple of hours early. So I thought that was nice. I downloaded it. It was a small download, 1.3 gig. It unpacks, and after the compression and all is done, it's like 4 gig installed on a hard drive, but that doesn't really matter. You know, in this day and age anyway, we've got ridiculous amounts of hard drive space. But one thing myself and many of the other people are having issues with, I mean, the Steam forums are fairly rife with it. There was talk before release about the same issues being out there. But the game is unoptimized for shit. I mean, it's really poorly optimized. I mean, I'm running an i7, a second gen i7 2600K, and a GTX 690. And at 1440p on Ultra, like everything completely maxed, there's usually 4 settings. There's usually low, medium, high, and Ultra. Not everything has an Ultra setting, but with everything turned up to its highest setting, I can get between about 35 to 40 frames a second. Now I'm running a G-Sync monitor, so that does eliminate as much of the slowdown and tear in and judder as much as possible, but it's still fairly jarring. And that's with everything at maxed. So what I did was I played around with the settings to try some of the lower ones. And even at the lowest settings, I'm still barely getting anything. I'm getting 40 to 50 FPS at 1440p with the absolute lowest settings. So I usually just have it running on, I think I turned down, I think I had it on max, everything maxed except for like one setting for this video, just to kind of even it out a little bit. But for the purposes of this, because of the frame rate, I'm actually going to cap the video at 30 frames a second, just so it will seem probably a lot less variable, really. So this video will be capped at 30 frames a second, and it's the usual. I mean, it's played at 1080, or it's played at 1440p, recorded at 1080p. However, it is recorded at 60. It records at 60 frames a second, but you know, I'm going to cap it at 30 because it's somewhere in the middle. But overall, shitty optimization aside, also I do want to say one other thing as far as the optimization side of it goes. It does run the Unreal Engine 4, which, while impressive in real world uses, I found has run like shit in every single game that it's ever been released in so far. Anyway, I mean, but that's just the nature of the beast at the moment. But you know, it's optimization aside, really, at the same time, because surely this game has to be patched. I mean, I can't see it being released like this and staying like this for a while. So I do think it's going to have a bunch of optimization coming out over the course of the next few weeks. It's a shame that has to happen, but it is what it is. Now, the game itself is actually pretty decent. I do enjoy and play twin stick shooters. Usually not as much so often because there's not really many of them lately, or at least not really many ones that do warrant playing, and the ones that, most of the ones that do come out are just shite. So, I mean, the last couple of ones off the top of my head that I remember playing and enjoying, I played Halo Spartan Assault. That was alright. I didn't really mind that. Dead Nation on the PS3 and PS4, so Dead Nation Apocalypse Edition, because that came free with PlayStation Plus, and my PlayStation Plus hasn't expired just yet, but it will, and it will not be renewed. But yeah, they're really enjoyable games. So this, as a twin stick shooter, it is a fairly decent game. I can't wait to actually get some proper time in it with, optimization and graphics. I'm gonna wait a bit more for optimization before I start playing it, because it could be a really enjoyable game, or at least a decently enjoyable game. I do feel like some of the control systems need a little bit of tightening up and refinement, but again, that can come in patches and optimization. If not, I'll just have to get used to it. I haven't played a twin stick shooter on the PC in a while, so maybe it's just hell, I haven't even played a twin stick shooter in a while at this point. Can't even remember when I played Dead Nation last, or Halo Spartan Assault, so it's been a while. And maybe I just need to get used to it again. But overall, the graphics in the style of game, given the fact that it's an isometric twin stick shooter, the graphics and some of the effects, in particular like particle effects and the what's it called? Not physics, NVIDIA PhysX, they run pretty well, and like I said, the rest of the graphics and effects are pretty decent. So I would like to see what it looks like once it's fairly beefed out. Now, fair enough, I realize while my graphics card is above minimum spec, or it's above recommended spec actually, so I should be fine on that front, because there's no way it's going to use 4 gig to power this even for 60 frames a second. And I'm pretty sure the minimum or the recommended spec on a CPU was a 3rd gen i5. I'm running a 2nd gen i7, so it's basically comparable, or if not slightly better, arguably, depending on what you're doing. But for something like this, I think it should be fine. So I'm waiting and hoping to see how that turns out, because I do want to play it, and I do think it looks good. It's fairly fun so far anyway. I've been talking too long in this video, so I'm just going to start wrapping it up here. And once again, this video is 30 FPS, despite the game being variable slightly above it. So let me know in the comment section below what you think of the gameplay of Hatred, what you think of the release, the graphics optimization, and just the general graphics and effects quality of Hatred, not just from this video, but that you may have seen or played yourself, because I'm curious to see what other people have to say and the experience they're getting with it. So okay, if you really want, you can also mention if you think Hatred should or should not exist. It's your right to say so. I'm curious to hear. A lot of people are bitching about it, the fact that the game even exists. So I wanna know about some of that shit anyway. So let me know all that stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. You can follow me on Twitter, because my new series started yesterday. Details and all on Twitter. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the rest of the videos in my channel.